up at some point. I don't know when, but I'm just going to call you up. And he goes, what's going to happen if I get it wrong? And I said, bro, I'm standing there. You start summoning demons, I'll help you fix it if you can't do it. You all know what happened? It was the one time I did the altar call, if you remember, and I said you're not to say what you want, and the people praying are not to ask. Do you all remember that? It was the one time, the worst possible time to do it to him. Think about it, because here he is insecure, full of fear, and I picked the worst possible. And I seen him look at me, and the fear and the horror rose up, and I smiled at him. And off he go. Go. You all know what happened? He started off wobbling pretty bad. Like even I was looking at him going, oh God, here we go. Do you know when he had to put his faith in God because he couldn't rely on nobody else, he had to either sink or swim. Guess what started to happen? Now God started moving to him. This man's never done it before, been told he can't do it, been told he's not allowed to, and I said to me, I start trusting God. So he starts ministering. Yeah, many people came back to me saying, wow, his words. Yeah, some of his words were Fruit Loops. Most people that pray are Fruit Loops. Here's the point. Nobody knew what went on in private behind closed doors. Right? So let's have a look at something. This is what's going to happen. Let's put the scriptures up, please. So, Matthew 14:22. Just before this story takes place, Jesus has just fed 5,000 people. Alright? With fish and bread. Look at the word that says there, in my version, there's two different amplified versions of that, I'm sure, because mine says a totally different thing. In my version, the one that I've got on my phone, it says immediately, following that. Immediately. They have just seen God move. They've just seen Jesus make this bread manifest and this fish manifest. Immediately. So we'll pick it up. Then he directed the disciples to get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he sent away the crowds. I want to show you something. Read your scriptures really, really carefully, and you'll start to notice that in the early days, Jesus didn't leave them too often. Jesus stayed with them because they were being taught. Then he starts to do this ridiculous thing where he starts pushing them off on his own. There's an eagle around the world. I don't know, I think it's in America or somewhere. People will have seen this. It builds nests on the cliff. You know what I mean by a cliff? Higher. And once the chicks are born, the mother and the father start to pull the nest apart. So eventually, as the chick grows, I guess the parents know how to time this, I would think. Either, hey? Well, if they do it a bit premature, they're going to splat on the bottom, aren't they? The eagle chick has got a choice. Here's something. You put your hands up. Those of you that put your hand up, you put your hand up on blind faith. Most of you are going to have to walk in that same blind faith if you want to see the miracles we're talking about. You want to see things? You're going to have to go into places where you are so far out of your depth. It's ridiculous. All the knowledge won't help you. All of the confidence won't help you. All of your smarty pants won't help you. The only thing that will help you is the name of Jesus. That's where you're going to see miracles take place. You're not going to see miracles take place holding my hand. Because none of you were there when I had to walk on water. You're all here now, but where were they in that? When I had to walk on water. Yeah, that first time I prayed for a person in a wheelchair. Man, that was out there. That first time I prayed for a person with multiple sclerosis. The first time I prayed for somebody with cancer, deformities. Man, you want to know how I felt? I love how as Christians we talk about, yeah, send me, Lord. But not just in that way. Make sure I got me napkin, I got me knife and fork. Make sure I got everything ready. I can't go unless I got it all. If you're going to wait for somebody to tell you you're good enough, you're never going to go. Because somebody's going to find fault with you no matter what. It's going to be the way you dress, the way you look, your application, the way you talk, the way you smell. Footy team. Duncan. The way you dress, Cheryl, your colour. They're going to come up with some reason. Do you know why? Because it's all aimed at stopping you walking in blind faith. Let's go with the story. Okay, while he sent away the crowds. Next one, please. Me. And after he had dismissed the multitudes, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Here's the key word, by himself. Where did he go? Up in the hills. What do you reckon they seen in the boat? Remember, he's told them to go. They're in the boat and they're going. They're drifting away, so they're getting further away from him. He is becoming less obvious to them. He's gone into the hills now. Oh, my God, if ever you want to see the intercessory prayer gifting at work, it's right here in Jesus.
Amen.
Where's he gone? Into the hills to pray. For who? The ones in the boat. Because it's just told them to go on their own way. I will promise you one thing. You will have my word, and I'll even speak on behalf of Jenny Griffith, and I'll even speak on behalf of Han Lee, because I know their hearts. You go and we'll pray. You like that call? You go, we'll pray. What do you think, Han Lee? When they go out, we'll pray for them, won't we?
Yes.
We'll pray in private for you.
And remember, Jesus is still praying today. That's his main job, intercessory prayer.
How many people actually contacted Cheryl and Andrea while I was supposed to be on my so-called holiday? Hands up if you actually contacted them. You know how many still kept contacting me? You know, towards the end of it, you can ask my wife, if your ears weren't burning, I don't know what's wrong with you. Her ears were burning. Because she's saying, you know, Red, they're becoming dependent on you. And you know what happens to people when this happens? You know, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to my ministry, okay? Mine, not yours. A dude by the name of Gordon Gibbs. Anybody remember Gordon Gibbs? Tony, you will. Gerard, you might. I remember he was telling me he was over in America speaking at a stadium of 30,000 people. And before he went up on the stage, he was going, man, this is going to rock. God, you're going to do stuff here. And when he got up there, he couldn't speak. The message made no sense. He couldn't move in the gifts. It was a blubbering mess. And when he come off stage and he went back and he said, Lord, why have you abandoned me? And the Lord said to him, because they're coming after you, not me. They're chasing you. So Gordon Gibbs, I remember this, Tony, I hope you remember. I remember him in Living Waters. He got up and he said, if you've come here to see me, you're going to be disappointed. Leave now.
Yes.
His exact words. I've never forgotten them. But if you've come here to see the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, you're going to get blessed.
Thank you, Lord.
Stop chasing men. Period. I am on I've got a clock ticking on my life, yeah? And no offence, I don't care how you take this, you can get upset, I couldn't care less. When I die, I'm going to be with heaven. I'm sorry, I'm out of here, I'm not here for you lot. I give my life to him. What I do is out of him blessing me for what he gave me. I surrendered my life to him and I died and I said, here you go, I'll come. You want to know how hard it is to walk on water when you're trying to go and get credentials and you've got people coming against you? You've never done any school? And people are saying to me, you're an idiot for even trying, Drew. People were commenting to me like, what planet are you on? Who do you think you are? Oh, if I had listened to everybody, do you think we'd be sitting here today? Let's read. He went up to pray by himself when it was evening. He was still there alone. I cannot get this clear enough to you. These poor old clowns, there's 12 of them. Could you imagine them in the boat? Like, just picture 12 of us. Let's get Tony, Al. Oh, no, not you two. It'll be like dinosaur heaven. Imagine getting a dozen of your friends and sitting in the boat and he's taken off and you're in the middle of a storm brawl. What do you think they're going to be saying? Yeah, man, we need to get out of here, right? Who would have been the first one to start falling to pieces? We know poor old Thomas, he said, unless I see the holes, I can't believe. So I don't think he would have been a full-on armour of God, man. He would have been probably buckling at the knees. First sign of trouble, what do you reckon the 12 of them would have started doing to each other? Jesus is up on the hill. Do you reckon he was praying for their safety? No, I reckon he was praying, Lord, that they will come to you, God. That they will trust in you. That they will trust in you, God. Because that's what Jesus said, I've come to do, to reveal the Father to you. Jesus wasn't praying to himself, by the way. He was praying to God. What do you reckon he was praying? Lord, strengthen them. Give them courage in their hour of need. Help them, Lord. I don't think he was sitting there saying, Lord, can't you see so they don't have to have a wobble in their life? If you think you're not going to have seas, if you think people aren't going to come against you, if you think religion's going to love you, you are in for the brutal shock of your life. And I'm serious on that. I just got told the other day I'm a fake priest, I'm not a real priest. After a house got delivered, No, I need to go get one. I went, okay, go get whatever you want to throw water around. And I said, but make sure you have a few dollars on you to pay them when they come. And then I went, Lord, I've got to stop doing that. Because I started reacting. You know what? They're not required to walk on water in my life. I am. You got that? Here we go. He was still there alone. Next one, please. But the boat was by this time out on the sea, many furlongs, and I think that's out a kilometre or two. Yeah. Of a mile distant from the land, beaten and tossed by the waves, for the wind was against them. Let me show you something. You are going to get beaten. You are going to get tossed around. Oh, and hang on, let me clause you for a minute. I want to show you something. Annette and I locked horns on this. We bumped into this bloke from the Congo, yeah? And he's got an orphanage over there. He goes, Red, I want you to come over to the Congo. And I'm going, oh, Congo, cool. Hey, let's go. And then he goes, hang on a minute, which part of the Congo? Because I didn't know this. There's two parts. There's the Democratic Republic of Congo, and then there's the other side. And then he goes, we need to find out which side. I'm going, nah, let's just go to the Congo. Like, that sounds cool. Go visit the monkeys and the elephants and whatever else is over there. I don't know what's in the Congo. Ebola. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? When it starts going, I'm a white woman, how they do the white women over there? And I'm going, hey, I'm not a white woman, I don't care. Let me show you what happened. Straight away, Annette turned around and she goes, look at everything that's wrong, and I'm going, yeah, but if he tells me to go, even if I should perish, what if I get to walk on water? What if I get to see that crippled walk for the first time that I haven't seen yet? What happens if, like JP, if like, do you remember Dougie that came in? Dougie was on the steps somewhere and a bloke died, so Dougie just went and prayed and raised the dead. How are you going to raise the dead if you don't go somewhere where there's dead people? Remember what you put your hands up to? When you say, I'll walk on water for you, Lord, be careful because you don't know what he's going to ask you to do. So I sat back and said, I want to go. And it goes, go, you're going on your own, son. True story. So tempted was I in my heart that I even took out the email address he gave me, and I was going to get Annette to send him an email and say, I'm coming. And God spoke to me, not Annette. Annette was looking at everything wrong. Remember, he never asked Annette to go to the Congo, he asked me. Did you hear me? He never asked Annette. If you have a look when Noah built a boat, he never asked Noah's wife to build the boat, he asked Noah. You've got to understand what I'm trying to say here. When he doesn't ask somebody else to do something, don't rely on them to give you the help, because they didn't hear it. If he says it to you, you're the one that's got to respond, not the others. So I take this out, I'm going, I think this is going to be cool fun. Even Raph, when I was telling him yesterday, just looked at me and rolled his eyes. I'm like, I want to go. And here's Raph cracking up because he wants me to go every day anyway. And I'm just about to, I'm going to do this. How do I do this without a net? No. Oh, how do I do this? Surely, Lord, I can get around a net. And I heard the Lord say to me, you're not going nowhere until I tell you to go.
Yeah, amen.
Did you hear me? Oh, it sounds good when you listen to people travelling all over the world and, oh man, you must be anointed by God. Don't go nowhere until he tells you to go, and when he does tell you to go, go. Because he's going to go with you. Right? Did you hear me? The Lord said, I'm not sending you out yet. Offended Raph again yesterday. Offended Timberley. I said, yeah, maybe one day I'll come with you. You can send me around the world. Of what value am I going to be if I'm there on my own? But what happens if God says, I want you to go? What happens if God speaks to you directly and says, go to see Julianne this afternoon and pray for her? What if he tells you to go? What do you think can happen? You want to walk on water? Then you've got to be prepared to go with no security blanket. Let's read a bit further. It says, stop, go back. It says about the beast, but have a look at this. For the wind was against them. Think about the wind as the Spirit of God, right? Do you think the Antichrist is for you?
No.
Do you think the devil's for you? Do you think fear is for you? First thing that's going to rise up is the opposite of faith. What is that?
Yeah.
Fear. False evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. First thing you have to do, oh, but what if I go in there and Juliet tells me to get out? You know how many times that woman's ranked me? Come on. I'm like, I'm on holidays. In the end, I sent a text message, can you please ring Pastor Cheryl? I don't know, did she ring Cheryl? Can't be too desperate. Oh, I just want you, Red. You know, there was a time, Tony, you know this, when other Christians and other churches were saying, God could never use you, Red. Never. Look at you. And yeah, I'm dysfunctional. I'm proud to admit it because I'm more functional now than what I was before. If you think I'm dysfunctional now, don't you look at me like that. For the wind was against them. You are going to have everything come against you. You're going to have things blow against you. You will have churches, pastors, Christians. You will have the devil himself. You will have political correctness. You will have it all come against you. And if you think you won't, read. But know this, Jesus is up on the hill praying for you. He's right there with you. And if you want, you got me and Cheryl, you got Andrea, you got Jenny Griffith, you got Han Lee, you got people that are called. Tony's an elder. You know the only reason why Tony's not an elder in the church, he doesn't want the title. If you don't think he's an elder, then you're mistaken, because I think he's called by God to be an elder. And I'll publicly say it. Do you know why I'll publicly say it? Because I think he's having more of an impact without the title and all the political crap stuff.
Amen.
Amen. Go and talk to the Renmark Bible Study Group. Oh, they love you. I'll be able to job soon. Hallelujah. The wind will blow against you. God will ask you to do things when you're going to have to sacrifice some home time. It's not going to be convenient for you. It's not going to fit into your little world. Because when somebody's dying, oh, can I just come back later? You know why I was answering the phone? And I rang a few people when Elliot wasn't looking. I waited until she was out of my eyesight. Then I quickly got on the phone. Because I didn't want to offend why you were sitting there shaking your head, you know what. Do you know why? Because when he called me, because I've seen him walk on water with me. And I think that what if it's that one phone call? You think I don't annoy my wife? She was saying, can't you just leave your phone alone for once? My poor wife was getting annoyed at me. Grumpy, saying, what about me? And I'm going, I love you, but I got this. I can't help myself. Because when the wind and the storm came against me, let's go to the next verse, please. I like the hour of it. Could you see the hour of the morning there? Oh, that's nice and early in the morning, isn't it? Out all night on a boat. That's pretty nasty, isn't it? Let's read. Jesus came to them walking on the sea. I promise you something, if you take a step of faith where you step out of the boat and you start to walk on water, he will meet you there. He has never failed me. Can I say this? And yes, I can stand in front of you and I can say that people have died on my watch. I've prayed for people and they've died. Yeah, I can say that. But I'll say this to you. To each one of those that I've prayed for that have died, I believe every one of them's in heaven. Tell me they didn't get healed. And if you're willing to stand in front of me and say, yeah, but they died, God failed, I'm going to say to you, living forever with him. Come on, man, that's what I want. Serious? Man, I get excited at the thought. Yeah, I want to see Emmy have kids. I'll be waiting for a while. Maybe. Oh, don't say that. Yeah, I want to see my family get us act into gear. I want to see everything perfect. That's the wrong life I'm living. Ain't going to happen. But I tell you this, when he calls me, I'm going. And I'm sorry if that offends people, but I'm out of here, man. That's my life. Why do you think everybody sits back and they go, you're the most laziest pastor we've ever seen? And I go, you beauty. Go and read your scriptures carefully. Jesus empowered 12 to do his work. I want to empower all of you in this room to do the work, because if you start doing the work, I don't have to do it. Do you know what that means for me? I get to have a holiday. I want to show you something. The more I give away, what do you think happens, Tony?
More abundance that comes back.
Now you got people ringing from all over the place. I had another dude ringing me from Melbourne. Will you come over here? I go, bro, I'm not allowed to go nowhere at the moment. God's told me to stay home with my family, as in you guys. We'll pay everything for you to come over and not come. God's told me not to move. Oh, but you're neglecting us. No, well, I'm not Saviour, mate. Wrong person to be saying that to. You're neglecting the Saviour, not me. All right, next one, please. I know this is a bit forceful, and I'm sorry if it is, but I had to do this. But yeah, I've seen things. Man, have I seen things that'll trip you out. I've seen demons bow to the name of Jesus. I've seen healings. I've seen it. I've seen salvations, too many that I can't even count now how many salvations I see. Let's keep reading. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. Oh my God. Jesus is walking towards them and they get terrified. As soon as somebody starts walking towards us, we panic and pig out. As soon as somebody goes, "You're not the Messiah. Who do you think you are?" You know, when Cheryl and I got spoken to about that program to do the, and I'm allowed to post for a minute, you know, about doing the suicide. Oh, they come and see us, we've heard about you, what you're doing, this, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, they never come back to us. Do you know why they never come back? Because I said, "No, I'm not going on your payroll. Maybe when I go on your payroll, I've got to obey your rules. I'm already doing this with God." So I get to go in a hospital, mate, if they don't like what I say, stiff chatter. Who's going to kick me out? Hey, Curtis. The patient says, "Come in." You know, when I go into the school with Cheryl, and the school says, "You've got to cover tax, you've got to do this, you've got to do that," hey, Cheryl. I'm like, "You don't pay my bills, mate. Jesus does. I don't answer to you. We're having fun with the kids." I'm missing that, actually. I can't wait for Tuesday. When people ring me up, like the dude on the weekend, "I don't want to believe in Jesus, but get rid of the stuff out of my house." "I'm sorry, man. That's all you're going to get from me is Jesus. You don't think I'm a real priest? Go give up the fixed water around you. You're fine." That's the first thing you've got to start dying to, is your own reputation. You want to go, you've got to die to what other people think of you. You willing for that one? Now let's try again. Who wants to walk on water? So far? How have I gone so far? Am I scaring you off yet? Because that's the idea, is I'm here to scare you off so you don't walk on water. Alright. They were terrified. "It's a ghost!" Oh, can I tell you something? People give more credit to the devil in fear than what they ever do to God in faith. And I am serious. And that includes me. I remember many times ringing Ralph. In fact, I remember being with a dude, and I said to him, "We're going to kick this thing out of you. I'm going to tell it to come out. It's going to come out. You're going to get set free." And he goes, "Let's pray." So I start praying, and it's not there. And I peaked, I peaked on that one. So I rang Ralph. "Ralph, God's abandoned me." Ralph starts laughing on the other end. He goes, "What'd you say?" And I said, "I told this thing. It's going to come out, it's going to do as I was going to leave this person in peace." And then when I prayed, it wasn't there. And he goes, "You nutter. You told it to come out, it had already come out." Well, I've learned things. You can hit them on the head with a book. I'll borrow your Bible just for one sec. So you can walk up with the Bible, you can go donk on the head, and they're going to do nothing. Do you know how they come out? By the name of Jesus. Not how powerful or how scriptural you are, but by what you believe in His name. That's demonics. What do you reckon with healing? Miracles done in the name of Jesus. How many of you know the name of Jesus? How many of you can pronounce it? It's not Italian or German to you, is it? Everybody after me, I want you to say Jesus. Everybody?
Jesus.
That's the only name you need. It's the only name you need. So let's do this. Jesus, let me walk on water. Off you go. What did He say to you? You asked Him, "Can you walk on water?" You said, "Let me walk on water." What did He reply to you? And the first thing I hear is, "Off you go." Go. Let's keep reading. Alright, and they screamed out with fright. Anyway, keep going. But instantly He spoke to them, saying, "Take courage, I am. Stop being afraid." Oh, I'm going to go to the hospital. What if their family